Hi, welcome to MVB Live Empowerment TV. Today I'll be asking the questions and I'm going to be the host. My name is George and I have with me.
Hi guys, it's Mo Malini back here.
All right, so a friend asked me a question and then I wanted us to discuss the question on the platform, and I believe it's going to be beneficial to a lot of people that are preparing for marriage or that are actually dating. All right. So the question is, when is it so soon to introduce your partner to the family? Like, how soon is it so soon to introduce your partner to the family?
I don't think you can put like a timeline on it.
Okay.
It's more about you first getting to know the person. If you're unsure about the individual, I don't think it's wise for you to introduce that person to um, your parents or your loved ones. Unless, you're just kind of like dating initially. But if it's like really, really serious, then that's when I would say, okay, introduce them, because you don't want to just introduce anybody. So I feel like the level of comfort that you have, comfortability in how you have grown with that person by observing their character and your character, because you have to know them enough to know how they will kind of react
Behave.
around your family. So if you don't even know how they react, um, they will shock you in front of your family and you can't really defend the person. So I'll say observe the person first, get to know them, at least have a major understanding of their character and their behaviors before you start bringing them into your inner circle.
Sounds perfect. I agree with most of the points that you brought across.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is no time limit to it,
Right.
which is fine. But you cannot know someone, like,
Fully.
entirely,
That I
right?
understand, yeah.
It takes years and years. Even people that have been married for
Mhm.
50, 60 years, they themselves also know they still are learning the other partner.
True.
So you saying, like, get to know the person and all of that, like, how soon or what will you say, I have gotten this enough information, so I think I know this person enough? Like,
I mean, go on a couple of dates,
mhm.
and spend time with a person. There's a difference in you just talking to a person like over the phone. You can really just pretend to each other for
That's true.
for years or hours and hours on end, because you are enjoying each other's, I guess, phone conversation. But there is something about the eyes are windows to the soul. When you sit down with a person and you look into their eyes and they begin to talk to you, you can tell when they are bluffing or not. So I would say, they could be perfect, maybe first date, second date, but third, fourth, fifth, you're going to start seeing red flags if you're really looking. Or you'll not see the red flags. So I'll say go on a couple of dates before you just introduce the person. Yeah, to your family. I think you owe that respect to your family and also to yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Get to know, what does the person like? Where are they from? That kind of thing. You don't want to be finding out things about your partner when your family is not asking them questions. So take time to ask them questions that you think, okay, your family is going to ask. At least be prepared for that. So a couple weeks, obviously, you can't get to know a person for 10 years just saying, I'm still getting to know them. You're wasting that person's time. I believe even within 6 months, you will know whether this is a person you can spend the rest of your life with or not.
Okay. I agree with you. Like, like what you are saying, I do understand, and
Right.
and that is what we hear a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, One thing I will add to what you said, right? I believe showing a person, your partner, to the family, it doesn't mean you have finalized the relationship.
That's true.
Right. So I know you brought that point, like a point, like, being able to you are doing yourself a good service by bringing the partner to the family,
Right.
and then doing the family a good service by also letting them get to know who you are having the relationship with, which is good. But I just want to throw this out there because it's good, right, to let the parties involved know this is where we stand, right?
Right.
Like between you and the person that you are dating, right? And like you mentioned, I understand there is no timeline to it,
Right.
like, so you can just choose to be together, enjoy the moment and all of that. I know you mentioned go on a few dates. So how many days is enough to say, okay, I've been on a few days?
Well,
and
there's no number, but at least try to spend time in that person's presence, right? If you don't spend time, you cannot know red flags or see red flags. So why am I saying a few days? When you go outside, right, based off of how the person treats other people,
yes,
you won't know how they're going to treat you, because we are human beings. Our characters and our behaviors are not too far off from who we are.
Yeah.
So just go. Even if you go to the grocery store, how they treat the person, the janitors, the cleaners, or that kind of thing, or just little children coming around. Do they even like going to church? I mean, if you're a believer, for example, I'm just saying, go to church with them and observe.
Okay.
Or if they like partying or whatever the case is, go to the party with them and see if you like their environment and if you think you can fit in their environment. And then, like you mentioned, when it comes to like the family, it's not just the two of you knowing that, okay, this is not finalized, you meeting my family, but you as a person, the one who's taking that potential person to your family, make sure you also tell your family, I'm getting to know this person, so that when they do come, your family will not pressurize them.
That's true.
And then you feel locked in.
That's true.
Because sometimes there's you might take a girl home, and because your mom doesn't like the girl, and she might not be a bad person, automatically, because of the influence of your mom, that relationship ends right away. Or your mom could like the girl, but then you notice a lot of red flags, but then your mom starts pushing for the girl, and then that kind of influences your decision. So you want to make sure that your family is aware that you guys are just getting to know each other, not to put pressure, unnecessary pressure, because families do tend to do that.
That's absolutely right.
And influence your decision, unfortunately, and fortunately.
Yeah.
So I think you owe it to yourself to be respectful with the person, know where you stand, and your family must know, where you stand, so they don't overstep.
Yeah.
And
so
cause problems.
Thanks for bringing this point across. I think some of these things, like we are not really taught growing up. We are not being educated on these things, that when you are having an affair, when you are having a relationship with someone, like when you are in a relationship with someone, it's okay to bring the person to the family, right? And bringing the person, it takes the whole family to know this is the person I'm seeing. We are talking, like you brought up, which I really like that idea, where
we're getting to know each other.
We are getting to know each other, and
it's not a done deal.
It's not a done deal, and the family, like the parents, also understanding that concept,
right?
Because I say most people didn't get to. This just came. I just have to say this, and it shouldn't be one-sided. It's not like the guy is saying, let's go and see my family, and then the girl is more laid back. It's supposed to be both ways. Right. So if the guy say, let's go see my family, the girls to also be willing to let the family meet the partner, the guy, so that both families will get to know this is the person that you are with, this is the person you are studying, right? So that it's not one-sided. Right. Because in most occasions, like from stories we have heard and all of that, it's mostly one side. It's like, oh, like this one will take me to your family, and then the other person don't. It's more relaxed.
I think it should be even.
That's what I'm trying to say.
If you're gonna go that route.
Yeah, it's so that both families get to really no.
No, yeah.
I think that is, anyway, I wasn't born then, but I think from what we were taught growing
Mhm.
up, like families were the one that accept marriages. So
Uh,
when you
Different depending on the
the
culture.
culture, that,
Yeah.
that's true. Like you bring the person you are seeing
Mhm.
to your family, and then the other person also send you to their family, and the
Right.
family get to do
Know
their
you.
own, their investigation,
Yeah.
run their own understanding of what they think about the
Family
family.
FBI.
Exactly, exactly. But
Guess it.
in another sense, I
Yeah.
think, and the fact that you brought someone home, most
Mhm.
occasions it's not finalized,
Yeah,
right? But
never.
they do a bit of underground work,
Mhm.
like to see if the family you are going through, if the person you are trying to bring to their family is well
Mhm.
deserved to be in the family, right?
Well, it might not, like, I understand what you're saying. Obviously, it's important for your family to so-called FBI investigate your partner's family, but I also feel like it's really not fair
That's right.
because you're not really your family. You know, you could have terrible, horrible parents or siblings,
Hmm.
but you're not like that.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
it's unfair that you would be judged based off of the
What
character of your
the
family
other
members.
family members.
Maybe you're not like that.
That's true. That's
And
true.
you want to be a better
You are
person.
different
You're
from.
working very hard. So just because maybe people know that, oh, you come from this family, this has happened before, they are judging you automatically based off of that. So I think that is, I should I say, unreasonable.
I
Yeah.
totally agree with
To a
that,
great
right?
extent.
Yes, I totally agree with that. But I think which what you're saying is
Yeah.
it make complete sense.
I mean,
Like
families are great,
yeah,
but you're
you
not
know,
really,
because
yeah.
like we grow, we learn,
Mhm.
we take our own path.
Because you could miss out on an amazing
Person.
life partner
Person.
because you're judging them based off of their family.
So that
Yeah.
is why I'm saying, like, I know you said go on a few dates and all of that.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say, right?
Some of those dates involve meeting the other families.
Yeah, but what I want to put this idea to across. Like
Okay.
my first one was like, seeing the family is not done deal, it's not finalized, because
Totally.
I'm bringing you to my family. So we are at the end of,
We are locked.
we are locked in, right? So that is not what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And the family doing the investigation, like that is not because they went into the family to check, so that is it, they are not well deserving to be in our family.
Yeah.
Because it's up to the two people that are in,
To agree first.
yeah, like those two people dating, right? Like I said, someone will ask the question. So
Mhm.
those two people already dating, you have to be able to let your family understand these are the things that I have seen of my partner. And yeah, I understand there are some few things that are not okay, or that you might reject based on these things. But these are the unique things that, although the family has this, because when the family go and do their own search, their own investigation, like the FBI and all of that, they will bring them to you,
African
right?
homes.
Exactly. They will tell you what they think is okay or what they think is not, right? But the fact that you have gotten to know the person, right? The fact that you have gotten to understand and talk deep into what you believe in, how you want life to be, and all of that. When your family even does find anything, you will be able to explain, like, these things I understand, these things we have talked about them,
Right.
we have go deeper, right?
So you have that information,
yes,
so
exactly,
you can
to
defend that person.
the person.
Yeah.
So that is why I said taking your partner to the family doesn't make it's like the end of it. Right. So the next thing that I will also add, like, like beside was so you take the family, you take the person to your family, right? So that is it. But before you take the person to the family, right? What I was thinking about, right? I just feel like I'm answering my own questions
Well,
and all
I
of
mean,
that.
ask and contribute. So we're having a
Yeah.
conversation.
So
I'm listening to and learning.
yeah, I asked a question and feel like I'm still answering, like bringing in solution, which is, anyway, that is fine. I'm always on the other side. So although I'm asking the question, but I still thinking
That's
about.
fine. If I disagree, I will butt in.
I still, but like you mentioned, there is no timeline to when,
Yeah.
like I said, it's someone, I'm sure the person will watch the video too.
Mhm.
There is no timeline to when you are.
Yeah.
But I think
You have to know.
you have to, yeah.
You have to know in your heart. And there's this thing called conviction. It's like giving your life to Christ. Nobody has to convince you and tell you that Christ is your Lord, Savior, and King.
That's right.
There is a feeling you get. There is this. It's a deep conviction. It's more than a feeling, should I say?
Yeah.
It's an understanding that and it's coupled by decision.
Okay.
To say, okay, I know like maybe this person or their family looks messy, right? But I'm convinced in my spirit that I want to walk this journey with this person. And I know because I'm making this decision, it's not going to always be easy. But because I've made a decision, I'm willing to go through the journey.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you have to make up your decision that you want to fight for something.
That's true.
For it to work.
That's true.
If you are a person who's easily influenced by your family or your friends or something like that, you can never be your own person. There's no way you can build your own kingdom, because guess what? Like, this is how I always look at it. If you came from your parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were once children
Yeah, definitely.
to their parents,
Yes.
right? At some point, they had to leave the layer and go and create their own family.
Yes.
They had to go build their own legacy. So, and that's why the Bible says, a man shall leave his what? Mother and father, and shall cleave to his wife. And then together the two shall become what? One.
Yeah.
God didn't talk about go and cleave with your entire generation and everything. Because you can never move forward when you do that. I'm not saying, hey, run away from your family. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying when you want to make a decision to make something work, you have to be dedicated to it. If you yourself are confused, I beg, why do you want to carry other people on your confusion journey? Sort your feelings out first and know if you're going to fight for that person. If you're going to fight for that person and that person is going to stand with you, then, hey, you're on the war front together.
So
the battle is yours to be won.
The question will be to you, what will you put if you had to put a number to it? Like, you know, what will you say this when you get to know a person to a certain number of months or years, that should be enough, okay, at least to present the person to the family?
Well, I wouldn't say give it years. I wouldn't give it months. I would give it your conviction based off of the time you spent with the person.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Because like when both of you think you both feel within you, it seems right. It seems like this is like the best time to really let the family know. Like you are more convinced. Like this person is the right person for me. Anyway, those are some of the things that I actually listed down myself. Like, you know, so like at least we are thinking alike. You brought some of these things that are.
And I'll just use an example. For example, like when we dated for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, not really a long time. But I'm saying before our families got to meet each other, right? We, in a long time, I'll say like about 10 months to a year, right?
But the whole point is like we were mostly around, right? We were because of events and stuff. So we
spent more time.
So
and learning
although they saw us, but we didn't really communicate or relationship wise, but they just see us together because there were a lot of church activities, church stuff.
Because you have to build a
like,
friendship together first before you jump in, and you have to know certain things about your partner's family.
That's true.
Before you make that decision.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I feel like your family is your family. Your relationship is your relationship.
Explain.
Huh? Yeah, your family is your family. You have a relationship with your family, right? Your relationship is your relationship. So I have to build a relationship with you first before I start allowing other people into that circle, right? Because remember, I'm talking about influence.
Yes.
People have a way of influencing you.
But
so you have to know yourself first before you finalize things.
Yes, that I do agree. You have to know yourself first because it's something I've always been talking about. Like being able to know yourself before you get into any relationship. It's something like I've been talking about.
Because your family wants something else maybe for you that is not in that person.
It's likely something like that will come up.
Yeah.
right? It's likely something like that will come up.
I'm telling you,
But
mothers are grooming their daughters for something on the high end of the spectrum. If you bring something that is not like that, oh, why are they? And fathers the same exact way. So know yourselves.
that is like I keep saying that because it's something that I keep saying. Like the first thing is like before you bring someone along, like you have to first know who you are, what you believe in, what you want to do, and all of that first.
Yeah.
So it's something I've always been saying because if you know yourself, it's easy that when someone come to you, you know what to do,
You know how to handle
to
things.
handle things
Yeah.
and make things easy. In conclusion, just give up about 2-3 things that you think people should consider before they I know we have talked so many angles of it, but to conclude, can you give like maybe 2 or 3 things that you say some you have to look at these things, you have to consider these things before you bring a partner to meet your family?
I would say, what are your core values? Do you have values that can sustain you in the long run? You're looking at longevity, right? You're not looking at just while in time. So look at the core values of that person and your core values. Do they align? Right? Because remember, wherever they're coming from, their family has their own values. Your family has its own values. So based off how you the two of you mesh, you'll see if those values can work. Because if they're clashing already from the beginning, that means you have a lot of work to do before you start, inviting your family members to be a part of this. So know the core values. And I always say number two, core values, I'm not going to list them in order of importance. The other thing is, if you're a believer, I'm hoping you're a believer, I'm trusting you're a believer, you know God, and you love God, because all things flow from God, whether we ignore it or not. We were made in the image of God. We were made by God. Science and all these things can try to disagree, right? But give yourself to Christ. Know God and pray that your partner also knows God, because you have to align with God and be under God. The Bible talks about a three-chord strand cannot be broken. You, your partner, and God. The family is the extra supporting parts of it all. But you have to have a relationship rooted in God. If you don't have a relationship rooted in God, other things are going to be more important than your partner and than your spouse. So I think that's number one for me. The person has to know God, you have to know God, and your cord has to be rooted in God. And then number two, have the same core values, or build the same core values. You have to make sure you have the same vision. Like when you're dating, what do you envision for your future? What do you want? What do I want? Look at those things. Do they align? You could be great people, but you don't want the same things. You can meet anywhere. That's going to cause a lot of confusion. So if you have a different view of life, you want to do something completely different, I want to do something completely different, you don't even have to wait for your families to break you apart, because you're already on two different tangents. So know God, have the same core values, and just know the trajectory of what kind of life do you want to build.
Okay. I'm sure you heard it all. Believing in God, trusting God, knowing yourself.
That's key,
and,
my people.
And having the same core values, or believing in the same values, so that you can build together.
Totally.
Thank you for listening in today. Thank you always for supporting and bringing your questions and asking us questions that also challenge us to also talk about what we have experienced ourselves,
right,
and what we believe or we can share. You can bring your questions, you can test us,
bring them
you
all.
can email it, and then we will do our best to discuss these questions.
Yes.
Stay blessed, and God bless you all. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.